Hi, it's Morgana Foma for my favorite poem video, and my favorite poem is called Persephone to Hades in a book called Great Goddesses by Nikita Gill. Alright, so the poem. You're still the kindest thing that ever happened to me, even if that's not how tale is told. Where everyone told me I was destined to be a forgotten goddess who nurtured flowers and fostered golden meadows. You saw how the ichor in my blood yearned for its own throne. You showed me how love can transform the darkest, coldest realm into the happiest of homes. Now, I find this poem very interesting because I personally love Persephone and Hades' tale. It's, well, really a love-hate relationship depending on how you interpret the story. So, as many of you know, the story goes that Hades, because of the Cupid's arrow, kidnapped, raped, and forced Persephone to marry him. But in Nikita Gill's version, throughout the book, she retells this story as in Persephone chose to love Hades, and she chose, when everyone was not expecting it, to be his queen. So she gives the power to Persephone for making such a bold move. And she has many other poems where you can see that this power is given back to her instead of to the capture of her. So for example, in Conversations with Persephone, she says, I asked Persephone, how could you grow to love him? He took your flowers to a kingdom where not a single living thing can grow. Persephone smiled. My darling, every flower on your earth withers. What Hades gave me was a crown made for the immortal flowers in my bones. Now, my favorite poem has only 4 stanzas of 3 lines, and the first 2 stanzas, the last lines, they rhyme, and in the last 2 stanzas, the middle line of the 3rd rhymes with the last of the 4th. So there's not really a very traditional structure to it. It's not like a villanelle or a ballad or a sonnet. It's really a very non-traditional structured poem. And because she is considered, Nikita Gill, an Instagram poet, but that's really not her fault because she went to many traditional publishing houses in order to publish her poetry, and many of them rejected her, so she turned to the online public and transformed a couple of her poems to fit more the online public. And once they loved her, then she got the attention of the publishing houses, and that's when she started publishing her books in, well, physical form. And only then her poems became more complex and, as I said a million times now, traditionally structured. But this one is one of the old ones, so it's quite Instagram-y in that way. But I still love it because it's well written, and not as in necessarily a technical way, but in a way that really touches you and makes you think about how stories are told. And depending on how you tell the same tale, it can be absolutely beautiful or completely tragic. The only technical thing that I can find in this poem is the word ichor, which is a personification of Persephone's blood, when it says, how the ichor in my blood yearned for its own throne. Otherwise, as I said, there's really not much else to it, but I love how she reimagined this tale and gave it a feminist perspective to it, as in Persephone is not an innocent, dumb, weak child who was taken against her will, but rather she knew exactly what she was doing when she went to Hades' cave and when she decided to be his wife. So yeah, that's pretty much it, what I have to say, because I'm reaching 5 minutes, so thank you for listening.